So a lot of people have asked me to talk about this video with Joe Rogan, this guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know. Taylor Sheridan. Well, actually, nobody asked me to do it because this is my first time doing this. But anyways. Okay, let's see. They talk some stuff about Cuba and let's see what they say. All right.
If you look at communism, there's plenty of rich people in communist countries. Real rich. They just all work for the Communist Party.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. I don't have a lot to say about that. That's just 100% legit.
I did a lot of research on Cuba for a project, and interestingly enough, they're given a ration of food. Every month you get this. You're gonna get a certain amount of eggs, you're gonna get a certain amount of, get a sack of beans, you're gonna get your flour, you're gonna get your sugar, you're gonna get this. You're gonna get your coffee and you're gonna get your rum, because we prefer you stay nice and liquid and happy, right? But you're not gonna get to choose where you live. You're not gonna get to choose your job.
So, yeah, we call that in Cuba la libreta. And that's a method they use to ration food and distribute food to everybody. Since I was a kid, I remember doing that. So I left Cuba when I was 22, and that was 2 years ago, 2022, and that was still around. That's called subsidios, that's just government help. And if you think about it, it's not even help from the government, because governments don't produce money. So what communists do is that they use your tax money so between everybody, with the tax money of the people, they gather the food and items, that's right. They distribute that to the population, and everybody gets about, I don't know, a little bit of rice, a little piece of bread. You get some little piece of chicken every month, maybe. I remember you get some frying oil, and you get tobacco, and you also get rum. Yep, and you get a little bit of coffee too. But this is just terrible, because they ration everything, and if you just eat whatever they give you through this libreta or this system that they have, you're going to starve. And if you don't starve, it's just because you're a tough motherfucker if you can survive just with that. And so what people do is that they take all that for sure, but they also have to figure ways to find food on the streets, and I don't know, doing side hustles, and that's how they do it. I still remember me and my brother doing that, going to the place where they distribute those items, and every month you get what you have to, you get what it is for you. And I said tax money, but it's not actually tax money, because they don't charge you taxes in Cuba. They straight up don't pay you, so, which is the same, I suppose. Let's say if you're a worker, you get, I don't know, $10 a month, whatever.
Yeah.
He's not going to get to do that.
And he also said that you don't get to choose your job. You kind of do get to choose your job. You're just not going to get paid enough. And basically jobs in Cuba, what do they do? Nothing, because there's no private company. So every company belongs to the government. And since it belongs to the government, they cannot pay attention to every industry. So what they pay attention to is to tourism. How to say that? I have to use the translator sometimes. Tourism. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. So, yeah, they use that's one of the big fields that they pay, that they put money on, and that's the thing, that even if you're a good plumber, I don't know, whatever you know how to do well, they're not gonna let you build your own company. And if you do, and by any chance you grow a little bit, they're gonna take everything away from you. So there's no ambitions in Cuba to drive for, because as soon as the government sees that you're making a lot of money, they're just gonna knock on your house all of a sudden. And then that even has a name. I think it's called Plan Maceta. Maceta, I think, is a colloquial term that is used for people who have a lot of money. And what they do is that some of those people, because I think you are technically allowed to open your own business, but they put a lot of limitations on you. And like I said, when you grow, if it would be easy, just think about it. A lot of people will have businesses in Cuba, but they don't, because as soon as you grow a little bit, no matter what type of business you have, they're just gonna go knock on your house and say, hey, where do you get this from? How do you make all this money? I personally know people who went through that, and I don't know, if you want to stay around, you kind of have to have good touch with the government and the people on the top. And the bigger your reach is, the bigger you're gonna be able to do well, sort of saying.
I was studying up on this thing because I was writing about a fisherman, and and they live on an island, so you could think, well, they could just go out and catch fish and lobsters and eat that. No, that belongs to the state. If you were caught with a lobster, you're going to prison.
Oh, Jesus.
That's 100% legit. Yeah. You're not allowed. I don't know how severe it is for fish, for regular fish. I think they let you they let it loose on that one a little bit when it comes to just normal fishes from lakes and stuff. I know myself some fishermen. I know it's not legal. If you get caught fishing, you're gonna get a fine and blah blah blah. Or maybe it is with certain limitations, but you're not allowed to catch fish and then sell them. Even though I know people who do that for a living. But like everything, Cuba used to do things for a living that are not permitted by the government. But if you get caught with lobster, you're done. You're completely done. You're going to jail, and nobody's gonna see you again. I don't know. And the same happens if you kill a cow, but that's another story. But I remember I ate lobster in Cuba a couple times. Not a lot, but just a few times I had lobster, because we had a friend of my dad who lived near to a beach place, near to the north coast. And he had a lot of contacts of people who catch lobsters and sell them in the black market. And I was never a big fan of it, but it was nice anyways. But if you get caught killing a lobster or catching lobsters, it's gonna be a bad day for you. And basically this happens because they want those lobsters for them and for the tourism, for the big hotels that they have, That's what they assign those lobsters and that food for. Because if everyone is allowed to catch them, then they're not gonna have that from their businesses, and they're not gonna have people from other countries coming here if you don't have lobster.
Christ.
Yeah. So you sacrifice any freedom. So yeah, you may have free healthcare. How good is it? I don't know. But you don't get to.
Healthcare is terrible. I'm telling you. I know a lot of people who, even my brother, myself, he studied medicine for 3-4 years. I don't know. And that's another of their big businesses, medicine, because they will send doctors from Cuba to another countries such as Venezuela. I think they're not doing that a lot anymore, but they used to do that. They would send doctors, very good doctors, because they're good educating doctors, but they don't have the resources for good medicines, healthcare system. So I don't know, man. I heard terrible stories of recycling syringes and using multiple of them with these different peoples. Me myself, when I was like 10 years old, and I was I think I was riding a bicycle, I hit my head, and I had a concussion, and I had to be for a week in the hospital, and that was a nightmare. It was the dirtiest place you could imagine, and it was a pediatric, I don't know, a hospital for children. And I shared a room with about 20 other kids, and the bathrooms, it was just, every time I had to go to the bathroom, it was diarrhea all over the place and super nasty and dirty. And the reason why I said that this was in 2007 is because it gets worse with time. Or 2010, I think. Every day it gets worse, and the stories that you hear are terrible. And people call it free healthcare. It's not free, it's just public. It's what I said before about your taxes, that they take your tax money for this and that. Well, you don't have to pay taxes in Cuba, yeah, but you don't get paid in Cuba, so they already take your taxes, pretty much. And yeah, that's what it is. It's just public healthcare. It's not free healthcare, and it's just horrible. Yeah, you have good doctors. I'm not saying you don't, because you have good educated doctors, for what it's worth, or that's what I heard, and that's what I saw for sure. But you just don't have resources. They don't have gloves and simple stuff. I know the stories. People who want to get surgery in Cuba, they have to reach a family member that they have in the US, and they will send them gloves and utensils that they use for surgery. I don't know, fucking knives and whatever they need. Anesthesia. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, anesthesia. Whatever they use to put you to sleep. That thing. Well, let's keep going.
To determine your own path.
It's a gangster system. And then they have their athletics program, which is just off the charts. They produce some of the fucking craziest athletes in combat sports, particularly in combat sports. I know they're doing other things, but Teofilo Stevenson, who was the guy who was the rival to Muhammad Ali, but he never left amateur boxing. He just won the gold medal. I don't know how many fucking years he won in a row. But everybody was like, if we could get this guy out of Cuba, this is a guy that could actually test Muhammad Ali. He was that good.
Really?
And he was just in their Cuban program. And everyone was terrified of him because amateur boxers, they reach a certain level of ability and they get a good record going. And either they go to the Olympics, and if they can medal, that can ensure they get a big purse in their first few fights. Yep. Olympic gold medalist Pernell Whitaker. Yeah, crowd, America, America. But if they don't, they just get enough experience where they can go professional. But in Cuba, they never go professional. So you get guys that are 15, 16 years into a boxing career that's essentially always been professional, always been with the most elite coaches, the most elite sports drugs, like whatever the fuck they have, whatever therapies they have. They're not natural. Like you're going to take whatever the fuck we give you. And that's what they did with Russia as well.
Yeah.
And
China.
So I think your Rogan knows more than me about this sport stuff. But yeah, I know Teofilo Stevenson. He was a great boxer in Cuba, and they were trying to set up a fight against Muhammad Ali, but I think Castro was putting a lot of terms and conditions, and they never got to an agreement. But it would have been interesting, because I heard that this guy, it was not my time, so you know. I think he died while I was alive, but I never saw his fighting or anything. This Teofilo Stevenson. I heard he was a tough motherfucker. And I think he was an Olympic medalist for like 3 times in a row. And I don't know, like 3 times in a row, that's 12 years, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, I know about he has a whole podcast with Joel Romero, and Joel Romero talks a lot about this. But yeah, the sporty thing in Cuba is a big thing too, because the way they do it is just that since you're a kid, what they do, these sport teachers or coaches, they go through the schools and they start recruiting kids. So they knock door by door on every classroom, and they say, hey, I'm a wrestler coach. Who wants to join me? And blah, blah, blah. And a lot of kids will do it because you get a little bit early off from school. And also you have fun, you know, it's just doing sports. And yeah, I know a lot of my friends who did wrestling. I did basketball, boxing, they will do it too. I did soccer. So that's how they will do it. And the best ones, they will, after each day, so that you have potential, they will tell you or make you go to the E-Day, I think is how they call it, IDE, E-Day? Yeah, something like that. It's just a sports school in Cuba, where it's just specifically for that matter. You just go there and this like intense training, and you can go pretty much at any age, from middle school to high school, whatever. And what they do is that they give you some basic classes of what you need to know from as a middle school kid, but the rest of the time is just intense training on whatever sport you are focused on. I never went to that school, and I never wanted to go because I know people who did, but it's just the conditions are terrible. There's the water. There's not a good plumbing system. There's not hot water. There's food. It's just terrible. Everything is just a fucking nightmare. Like every other college or university is not. It's not different from those. So yeah, if you want to know more about it, the one that he has with Joel Romero and Joey Diaz translating, they talk a lot about that.
So, how many times did he win the gold medal?
3 golds in a row.
Jesus Christ. 3 golds in a row. That's 12 years of gold medals.
Yeah.
And all these other golds too at other events.
Yeah, all these different events. I mean, he was the fucking man. He was the fucking man. So what you're essentially dealing with is like a Mike Tyson type dude who's at like that level of like world championship caliber boxing, but you're having him fight amateurs. So everybody else is just trying to get together a career so they can go off into the professionals. This guy can never be professional. So he is a professional. Right. So he's the best in the fucking world, but he's just not getting paid to fight Muhammad Ali on television.
Right.
Ali might have beat him. Frazier might have beat him. Foreman might have, some of those guys might have beat him, but we never got to see it. But what we did see is like that caliber of boxing come out of Cuba. And some of the scariest guys that have ever fought in the UFC have come out of Cuba. Yoel Romero, the freakiest of freak athletes of all time, came out of Cuba.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, he never won the gold in the UFC, but he got to, because he had broke his orbital bone in a fight. Dan, like I've never seen a human being like this. I've been a doctor for 30. Where the fuck did you get this guy? Have you ever seen him? Wait, I just wanted to see what he looks like. That's Yoel Romero.
Shit.
Bro, and he's in his 40s here. In his 40s. And he's a fucking amazing guy. An amazing guy. He came in here and did a podcast with me, and Joey Diaz translated. So he can only speak limited English.
That's
what he was talking about Cuba. He was like, where you at in Cuba? There's so many guys. They're killers, and you become a machine. You become a machine. And I was like, oh my God. What that guy went through. So that is also a part of what Cuba is. They're forced into this. If you were at the best level, you get to eat 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But if you're at the other level, you get to eat twice a day, and you don't get to sleep in the good places. You get to sleep in the shit places. So all these guys are training with each other, all fighting for these spots, literally for food.
Fucking crazy.
Stevenson, then 22 years old, was rewarded with a house for himself in Havana and another for himself and his family in, I don't know how to say that.
Oh, that's what I know too. That when you're good sports, when you get very good, government takes very good care of you. They give you houses, they give you a car. A car doesn't sound like a lot, but a car in Cuba is, you're a millionaire. You're top of the chain if you have a car in Cuba, no matter how old it is. So yeah, they probably, I don't know, give you food for free, whatever. They take care of you.
Delicias. Stevenson later recalled, I had no idea a house in Delicias was going to be so big. When I was shown the plane, I said, what is this? A bunker? Oh, the plans rather. I said, what is this, a bunker? So they gave him stuff. They gave him like houses and shit.
And 2 cars.
Yeah. They would treat them well. They did that also for the Soviet athletes.
So yeah, I think that's basically what they talk about Cuba.
Right.
And I don't know if I'm even gonna post this video. I was trying to do this different format that I've never done before. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm posting this. This is the first time I try this. I don't know how the quality is gonna be. I think the camera looks a little bit blurry. I don't know why, but try to figure it out later. It's kind of fun. I'm just trying new stuff. Anyways, that's it. Yeah, just let me know if you liked any about this, and if you have something to say about it, just tell me too. All right. Bye.